Oh no, it's saying that I can't. It's saying I can't rotate it. Hey, come here. Okay. I'm gonna cry.
On behalf of family, we want to welcome all of you to this service of celebration for God's life. So can you just powerful moment of prayer, please? God of all, creator of heaven and earth, in the name for the opportunity to gather together to celebrate the life of God. Thank you for bringing him into this world and the life he has lived from birth until his passing. Thank you for all of his steps and the legacy he leaves behind. God really was.
Ford was born in Toronto, BC, moved to Edmonton at the age of 3 with our mother and father, myself, and brother Ron. Our parents, very soon after the move, Mom couldn't afford to raise us on our own, so our father moved us around to family and friends, and my mother moved back to British Columbia. And nearly 2 years after our parents break up, our dad's 3 sons found themselves living in the Kiwanis Home for Children, located out on 104th Avenue, about 122nd Street at the time. And that was a long and lonely 3 years. And we didn't have a mom and dad at the time. Finally, my mother was able to bring the boys to live with her and a new love of her life, a man named Arnold. Most of you probably know about him. And he moved into a little pink house in Jasper Place. Now that's it. Gordon and I quickly made new friends, some of who are still friends today. Gordon's ambitions as a young boy was sports, which he quickly excelled at. Hockey, football, baseball, basketball, all team sports. He was a team player who turned his passion into countless victories and created many, many lasting friendships at the same time. During the summer break between grades 11 and 12, Gord was working with a traveling carnival named Wally's Amusements out in the Hinton. On his last day before heading back to school, he had a terrible accident. He broke his neck on that fall. He had to walk back to the first aid cabin holding his head like this. It was crazy. That was the last day, just before he was going to go back to school. Grade 12. So he wore a cast from his forehead down to his hip. Had a crop of hair sticking out the top of his cast. It was no fun for him for 6 or 7 months. And this set him back in high school, but he soon made it up and graduated. And after graduation, Gord worked with Arnold in instruction. He built his muscles pushing wheelbarrows full of wet cement, keeping the job site clear and clean. He also worked with his friend Victor Bitt, whose father was building basements as well. Victor was a great friend of Gord's, who he shared his love of football and basketball. Many of Gord's buddies went on to play junior football with the Edmonton Huskies, while he sat in the bleachers, cheering them on. And Gord's neck injury prevented him from participating. Gord did play hockey as a goaltender with any team that would have him. Eventually, he registered at NAIT in Business Administration, a 2-year course, where he tried out for it and made the NAIT hockey team as one of their 2 goalies. During the summertime, Gord and I teamed up to play fastball with our friends like Brian Wilkes, Rick Arnold, business education stint at NAIT in 1975, and did a season of fastball with myself and other great friends. After fall season, Gord left Edmonton to pursue his dream of being an NHL professional goaltender, stopping for a while to play in trail BC with the Trail Smoke Eaters, that were once Canadian teams. But Gord got an offer he couldn't refuse when he asked to come to play in Port Alberni, BC, in a Pacific Coast Hockey League. The team was called the Port Alberni Bats, and it was semi-professional hockey. His future was looking bright. That changed when he took a slap shot to the face, shattered his face mask with quite a few teeth. And Gord's neck injury limited his side-to-side head movement, and with that, his NHL dream died. Gord moved back to Alberta and settled in the Green Valley, where a greater chapter of his life began. He got a job with Mackey's Oilfield Service, and after a short time became an apprentice electrician. And then Gord met Doris, and soon the bells were ringing. And they bought a home, and had daughters, Samantha, and then Allison. Eventually, Gord was hired by the Idaho Corporation, where he became a journeyman electrician, and later on a master electrician. Layoffs came down the road. Gord was prepared. He'd already formed a company called EV Security Plus, and could do various renovation projects, services installations. And I helped him with wires first post from the left end of the final inspection. The board stayed very busy working, renovating their house, creating a beautiful newer living home from front to back, side to side. He once told me that if I were ever to get laid off at Transport Utilities, we should form a new electrical business, and I thought that was a great idea. Gord moved his family to Edmonton after bidding on and getting an electric contract with the Capital Region Housing Corporations, doing electrical maintenance and troubleshooting for over 5,000 units consisting of townhomes and apartments. Thank you to the steel. Norman. I did get laid off. Thanks to the steel. Now we get started in business. McDermott Electrical. Gord kept his side business, DD Security Plus, and converted it to a trenching company after purchasing a case backhoe combination deep trencher 5 years after the start of McDermott Electrical Line. Contract back to the power company I previously worked for. The board had good staff, for instance. They were proud to help grow that company, like Joe Chalk and Adam Brooks. Gord was a good teacher and didn't suffer fools lightly. His handshake was warm and genuine, as his eyes were soft. Unless you made him mad. And his steely eyes were like lasers in his closing with sights. Gord found elementary fishing. He was very patient out on the lake, but not so much in the early morning hours. After rushing to get the coffee on at our campsite, he'd wake me up and go with him, saying, "Come on, maybe sleep when you're old." He loved being with kids, fishing for the first time. He'd guarantee a catch for them if they did what he said, and he never failed, ever, never. The Gord's kidneys started failing him around 2010, and soon after he had to retire. Giving up in business wasn't his idea of success. But the company ended on a high note, generating careers for his boys, becoming master electricians themselves. Gord and Doris purchased a condo in Mazatlan, Mexico, where they could spend 3 months each winter, all the while having to go to dialysis 3 times a week, 4 years of early morning visits to the local hospital with Doris, 4 years.
Yeah.
Finally, the two kittens available for immediate transplant. Well, that was 7 years ago. Such great news. But something soured. I have to wonder if this new kidneys affect his personality. And I'm not alone in my thoughts. It seemed like he was mad at almost every one of his friends. He could easily drive people away. Not mentioning names. Amanda had her baby boy Colton. Gord was very proud of him. The shininess came back to his face. He had a new fishing boat. And Allison had a baby girl Sky, whom Gord loved very, very much. Gord and I had a very uncomfortable last 3 years. In his recent hospital stay, I felt it was important. I visited him and very well attached. I told him, he's my brother, and I do love him. There's no more room in my heart. Animosity. And he said, "I love you too, Judy." I heard him say he'd get a great life, a successful life. Too late. I know what he meant. He will mix with the fish in the waters of the Lesser Slave Lake. Just have on our day to be determined later. Thank you very much.
The story told that Voltaire, the French Enlightenment philosopher, was speaking at the funeral of an aristocrat. In the speech he said, he was a great patriot, humanitarian, and loyal friend. God had many friends, and many of them are loyal friends. And we will hear from one of his friends.
Say
I was Lord's friend. But you admit, I watched the movie lots of it still makes me I was honored yet terrified. That's the exact because my best friend, it made perfect sense. That's where the best friend way. We're glad he said yes. I apologize for how I'm dressed today. For as long as I had known Gord, I think he preferred wearing sweatpants and a t-shirt instead of dress pants and a shirt with a collar. I hope he forgives me for dressing for comfort today. It's great to see so many Gord's friends and family here to honor his passing. You know, all of us way too early. Thank you so much already. Because of Gord's background in baseball, basketball, and slow pitch, I believe this is just the start of a new meeting for you. Whenever I missed a phone call from Gord, he seemed to always start with the voicemail with, "Hi, it's where the electrician going." I guess I could have told him he was the only electrician I knew his name. I don't remember exactly when I met Gord. I think it was shortly after I moved to Great Valley in the summer of 1976. We played a lot of fastball together. And Gord at third base and me at shortstop. I think we had that side of the infield covered fairly well. After I moved to Calgary, I put lots of miles in my car, returning to Drayton most weekends for tournaments. I remember one time at a tournament in Pinocha, there was a local restaurant giving away a chicken dinner coupon to anyone hitting a home run. Luckily, I hit several home runs that weekend and gave the coupons to the kids of some of my teammates. It might be hard to believe. It might be hard to believe, but I kid you not. The restaurant was named Poor Gordy's.
Silly.
We played a number of basketball tournaments over the years at Mulder's, located on Pigeon Lake. My parents had a trailer at Mulder's golf course, and whenever Gord and I would stop by between games, my dad was more than happy to pour for the drink. One fall, after attending an Edmonton Eskimos Western Final football game in the mid-'80s, we decided to go to a fundraiser put on by the Mulder's basketball team. It was like pulling teeth because he never won anything, but I finally produced Gord to buy a ticket on the draw for a Texas meeting. Guess who won? We were all 10 miles south of Thorsby, and since there was no Uber available, we drove 10 miles north to my parents' house in Thorsby. Gord was adamant that he was going to pour a drink for my dad for a change from his Texas Mickey. By this time, it was probably about 1:30 in the morning, and reluctantly, my dad got out of bed and let Gord pour a drink. Because of the job opportunity, several years later, my family and I returned to Great Valley, allowing Gordon and I to start playing ball together again. This time it was slow pitch, since we both matured and were now less competitive. Well, I was anyway. Once in a while, Gordon and Doris would invite our family over on a Friday night for a barbecue. We would normally have one or several beer while solving all the world's problems before our sports started to cook. But this meant that we couldn't eat until about 10:30. We quickly learned to give our kids a snack before we left our house so that they could laugh until it was time to eat supper. Gordon and I went on lots of guys fishing trips over the years with Gary, Brett, Conrad, Sebby, Mark, and others. I'm so glad that when I got to go aboard his family friends to Slave Lake for 12 days this June, I'm really glad. For those who here for that, you know who you are. Thanks for the great time.
Daddy, close the lights tonight.
Gordon is good at lots of things, which came in handy when they renovated a small animal house in Drayton Valley into the large home they lived in until they moved to Edmonton. Whatever he didn't know how to do, he quickly learned. By that time frame, they had a kitchen to die for. He did the wood training, brickwork, plumbing, concrete, and of course the electrical. While preparing to grade his master's electrician exam, he dropped it from Drayton to Edmonton 3 times a week for 6 months with his friends to grab Turnbull and Dean's house. Gordon described these trips as being very entertaining. Needless to say, he passed the exam and became a master electrician. Because of his previous skills, which were improved by renovating the house, and his newly acquired certification, we wanted to know his accomplishment. We pursued Gordon Black, with Syracuse Letters, Gordon King, all trades, master of one. Lynn and I were lucky enough to visit with Gordon Doris on August 27th on the way back to Calgary. During this visit, Gordon wanted to ensure he told everyone he had a good life and met lots of very good people.
I didn't know. How was that? I didn't know. Okay.
On his last day, September 1st, it was weird. I was trying to read a book. I was having trouble concentrating and struggling to keep my eyes open. I barely had afternoon naps or siestas, but I had to lay down for a while. This was mid-late afternoon. We later heard that Gordon fell right out too. Did I feel like Cumberland forced me to us? We never know, but I think there might be a connection. Over history for fastball and slow pitch, it reminds me of the joke. When Fred were lifelong friends and made it feel that whoever passed first, if at all possible, come back until later they played in heaven. Unfortunately, Joe passed away, but about a week later, Fred saw Joe on the street. I ran up to Joe and said, "You come back? That's great. Tell me, did they play ball?" Joe said, "Good news. I have bad news." What's the good news? He said, "They do play ball in heaven." Fred said, "That's good news. What's the good news?" Joe said, "Playing next week." So tell me, years ago, he's going to tell me next week. You're good.
Oh, okay. God seemed to make his in those times zero. Mostly down. We need emergency users and staff charging nurse and nurse help in this kind of that's where how this folded because all the child emergency this done in emergency. If you've ever been in an emergency at the University Hospital, it's crazy and all kinds of crazy things happen there. And I mean, people are sick, people are dying, people are close to death, etc., etc. And in the midst of all of that, to have this happen was something so beautiful. That's why it's Alison, and Alison is coming on this side to share that thoughts something like that.
I've never done anything like this before, so I'll probably lose it. I'm gonna try. When I was younger, growing up, we always went fishing. It's probably why I love it so much today. Makes sad. But back then, my mom would fish for me. And my dad would come around with a plate and he'd say, Allison, have some. And I'd say, no, Dad, no. Fish are stupid. I'm not eating that. God, I was really wrong. I found out when I was 38 years old that I actually really like seafood. I probably should have listened to him. When we were younger, my dad would call me and I was making us spaghetti. We never really knew which one was which. So I asked my dad, and he said, it's whoever responds first. There I go. My dad also had a whistle that was directed for just me and my sister. And I intend to carry that on to my daughter. It's not like this. Only at a time when my dad took me to Mexico on a separate flight with my mom and sister. I was 16 then, and they thought my dad was stealing me. Even though I tried to tell them he was my dad and it was okay, he still had to wait to get confirmation from my mom. I think he was scared, but he never showed fear. I'll never forget the time I asked my dad. My dad asked me to put the boat plug in, and they put it in the wrong hole. Dropped off the boat and went back to go pick up some of my friends for fishing, only to find him dishing water out of the boat. Yeah, he didn't think that as bad as I thought he would. When I started school again, I was getting ready to take my ortho exam. And my dad had good advice. He said, Allison, if you know it, you know it. It's not going anywhere. Focus on what you don't know. And that's what I did, and I passed. My dad was very smart, even towards the end. When my dad first got really sick, I asked him to do 2 things for me. I needed him to meet my baby girl's phone, and I needed him to walk me down the aisle. He got to meet her baby, and he loved her so much. He was such a great grandfather to her. He would have done anything to walk me down the aisle. And from what I heard, he really tried, but he was just hard and sick. And so we went, and we got married in front of him. I can't say how much it meant to me to have my father give me away. My dad told me on my wedding day to be strong, and that he had a good life with no regrets, and that he loved us all very much. He ain't not been quite ready to go yet. So being Dad talking about how we needed to get the picture and style of him with the fish up on the wall next to the other one.
I just
Get rid of his mother. He was always the man with the class.
I don't.
And he told me in the end of his life why he needed to get things done for the family. He said, Allison, you know why I'm always in a rush to get things done? I said, why not? Get things done? I said, why not? He said, because when I look at a project, I see it done in my head already. And if people are around to help, I like to get it done. He was a strong man, the strongest I'll ever know. Dad, I love you forever. And hope you rest in peace. And thank you for doing all that you did. Everything that I needed you to bring out. You were a great mother and grandfather, and I love you so much. And I will miss you forever. But I'll keep you very close to my heart.
Good.
Sometimes you meet people for the first time, and sometimes it feels like you've known them for a long time. And I think that's what I felt when I met God for the first time. And one of the things that made me feel that way too is like I have 2 daughters, and he has 2 daughters. So that was a good place to connect with him. Not only that day when I went to the hospital to the wedding, the first person I met when I walked into the emergency department, and I came to where God was. And
Mom,
then
it's
she was
almost
Amanda.
your turn to talk.
And then Amanda saw me, she says, I know you. And I said, "Oh, seriously?" Yes, she said, you used to be a chaplain of the user body hospital. And then I thought, oh, and I'm looking at that and trying to remember, did I remember? And then it kind of came back to me after thinking about it for a long time. And we guys were renew our acquaintance again that time, and please come in this time, share some thoughts about that.
I'm so
Well,
hard.
I think most of you know me, but now that I'm a board, I'll remind you. That I'm Board's oldest
That's a
daughter.
funny topic.
Sorry to leave them here today doing this, but here we go. Dad asked me not too long ago if I'd talk at his funeral. Of course, I'd always planned to be here, but I never thought I'd have the opportunity for him to have asked me to make this speech. Dad loved his speeches, and he loved to plan things. So this shouldn't have been a surprise to me. Most of the music and things that are happening today were planned by him. And like my dad, as you'll see too, I have a lot to say. So where do I start with this? I'm going to try to start from the beginning. And growing up with my dad was often a challenge. At least that's what I thought at the time. Dad wanted us to be focused on being kids. He wanted us to play outside and have fun. So when Nintendo came around, we were never allowed to have one. But that didn't stop us. As with many, many things we hid behind his back. When he would go away to work, Mom would rent one for us and we'd play with it for hours. And it was a lot easier to hide things from him than come clean sometimes. And as you're here, I'll come clean on a few things so the urn starts to shake. Dad, I never won a trailer. He probably told you a few I did not. I bought a trailer, traded it in, and I'm in a lot of debt. Sorry. sports at a young age. I remember being very young and being passed over the glass at the hockey rink so I could go for a ride on his shoulders after the game. I remember going to many baseball games with dads and picking up all the cans. And believe me, there's a lot of cans, so I know a lot of candy. I watched my dad and his friends and my uncles play and I remember thinking just how fast they all were and just how much I wanted to play with them as well. Dad gave me a big piece of plywood when I was younger so I could practice pitching. I still remember drawing on the board with a stick figure and a large box and strike zone that I would pitch over and over trying to get with the hold of things. Dad would watch me from the deck having a beer and give me tips while I tried to perfect my pitch. And I was really into swimming also when I was a kid, and I'll never forget the day my dad was finally able to come to one of my matches. I can still see him with his arms crossed watching me as I went as fast as I could to try and win that race. And thinking I got silver that day, and I probably found the fastest I ever found in my life. It strikes up to always make me proud. And that day I know I did. Dad loved his sports. He played hockey and baseball. And when we were younger, he loved to coach and be a part of the team. One of his favorite memories was coaching the family's boys team with a couple of his best friends, Gary and Brett. He has a picture of that and many, many other sports teams on his wall in his basement. One of my favorite memories was when I was younger. Although I was too young, Dad didn't care, and I was able to play with him on his team. I must have been around 12 years old at the time, and I felt like such a big thing. Especially when one of my classmates said to me, "You're too young to play on this team." But my dad let me play anyway, and I just loved playing with him. Dad liked to party. I was wondering where I got it from. Just kidding. I know that I'm in this team, but my dad let me play anyway, and I just loved playing with him. Dad liked to party. I was wondering where I got it from. Just kidding. I know that I'm in He often would take us to his friends' houses when we were younger, and we would have so much fun with the other kids, quads, hot tubs, horses, and so many things we did not have on a regular basis, but we got to experience it because we didn't have it. Dad knew someone who did. One of Dad's major passions was fishing. He loved to fish, and he would take us on some very memorable trips. One of my favorites was Squatting Lake in Saskatchewan. He would take a long drive up there almost yearly, and as a child, Dad would try, and Mom would be the one to find herself, to be finding the tapes and being the DJ. And Allison and I would mostly sleep in the camper. Once I caught a 17-pound pike in that lake, Dad loved to tell this story. So I was fishing in the lake, with my legs over the old aluminum boat, black toenail polish on. My dad's motor stopped and we began to drift into the weeds, and I got a hit, and it was massive. Dad would say, "Bing it, you've got to keep the pressure on." And as I tried to reel the fish, I'm like, "Dad, help me, it's too heavy." And he responded, "You picked this fight and you need to finish it." And I did. And to both our surprise, that fish was huge. I think it was much bigger than my dad anticipated, as I remember him jumping up so fast to get that net. The boat was just rocking. And the smile on his face every time anyone would catch a fish was just a pure delight. I was also on one of those trips. I turned 13, and Dad and Brett took me to another lake in a storm, and a storm came in. I, of course, had no idea how bad this storm was, as Dad wouldn't have let on the possibilities of what could have happened. We ended up having to get to shore and found an old cabin. Brett and Dad took the phone and stuff to check the place out. Of course, when you fish with Dad, you always had to have beers on the boat. So it was a beer break in my eyes, and little beknownst to me, my dad had time to give me my first beer, or what he thought was my first beer. I remember getting a little buzzed off that beer, and we managed to make it back eventually, and my dad was proud to announce to my mom the gifts he had given me, and my mom just rolled her eyes. Dad loved his music, so when I got him an Alexa, he was thrilled and fascinated that he could just ask her to play a song and she would do so. Dad would take me to many concerts. One of my favorites was when I was around 12, and he took me to Alanis Morissette. He had this big plan to surprise me with tickets, and I was so excited, and he was so excited to do it. When we would go to his friend's house, he would ask me in front of them, "Who's your favorite singer?" And I'd answer Alana's, and they'd all have a chuckle. At the time, I had no idea, but now I understand what was going on there. He bought the tickets, and he had it all planned out. He would take me to the city, tell me we were going to a football game, and then surprise me with tickets. The radio station at the time was giving away tickets, and he had to be a specific caller. And I tried over and over and over to get these tickets, and Mom would say, "Don't do that." I would say, "Why?" And then she broke the news. And as you all should know, and if you don't, I'm telling you right now, my mom could not keep a secret. She told me everything, so I had to put on my best acting skills and pretend they didn't know what was happening. But I actually wish they would have got a more genuine reaction from me. But I did my best, and he never knew the difference. When I was 14, we moved from Drayton Valley to Edmonton. It was a challenge, but Dad tried to make us as comfortable as he could for us girls. And sure, he had new bikes and introduced us to some of his friends that could show us around. He would coach my baseball teams in his off hours and allowed me to really try and shine on third base. He always wanted me to play third base, but I was never a natural there. I think that he just wanted me to live out a little bit of his dream there. Whatever the case was, he taught us girls so much. We made a bunch of trick plays that he would come up with, and some of which I shared with some of my friends coaching their girls to this day. High school was more of a challenge for me, with the random knocks on the door to wake me up, and it was never enough. He would use the back of his fingernails and tap the door, and I always knew it was him when he did this. Dad had a way to get her attention when we were kids, and as adults, and as Allison mentioned, it was the whistle. And it did start like, and then if you didn't immediately, if it didn't get our attention right away, you followed into it. And then we knew, okay, Dad wants us. Dad always saw more in me than I ever saw in myself. He knew what I was capable of, and he pushed me hard to get to where I am today. One of his famous lines was, "This is short-term pain for long-term gain." And I hated when he say that. But I now understand what he was getting at, and I hate to admit it, but he was right. When I would bring home a report card he wasn't satisfied with, he had no problem letting me know, and it did end up in some major fights between the two of us. Eventually, it was agreed that as long as I was passing, the grade didn't matter, and I didn't have to show him the report cards anymore. I would just count him the results, which were always much higher. Just another one of my tricks. Tell him what he wanted to hear, not what was always true. I graduated in 2000, not with honors or anything, but Dad didn't need to know that. He knew I needed to do some upgrading, but he said, "Okay, Amanda, you have this 1 year after high school to live here for free, do whatever you want. After that, you better have it figured out, because you're going back to school and you need to get your life on track." All I remember thinking was, "Hey," and man, did I. It was convenient for me. Dad liked his beers at the time, as I was broke as a joke and couldn't afford my own, so I'd steal his on the regular. The only problem was they were pills, and man, did I. It was convenient for me. Dad liked his beers at the time, as I was broke as a joke and couldn't afford my own, so I'd steal his on the regular. And the only problem was they were Pilsner. They hated that garbage beer. Thankfully, Mom always had some tomato in the fridge for me to dilute it with. Dad and Mom shelled out tons of cash for me to go to post-secondary school. And Matt and I are thankful that I don't have some major student loans right now. I'm sure to my dad's dismay, taking 10 years to get to my RN wasn't always the plan, but he had no problem with me going forward with it, and I'm eternally grateful to him and my mom for that. When I did finally, and I mean finally, get my RN, my mom, Dad, and Allison surprised me at the house with champagne and we celebrated. When I was in my 20s, my dad bought a condo in Massillon, and it was amazing. I loved going there. I utilized the condo many a times, and I'm sure, as many of you here can attest, it was a really fun place to be. Mom and Dad made a lot of forever friends there. And Dad was just smitten with the place and he loved going. Mom, not so much. But in true Mumsy style, she went along with it for as long as she could. As I mentioned before, Dad loved his sports. One team that we would always watch, and that he got me into at a very young age, were the Edmonton Eskimos. And no, he has never and will never refer to them as the Elks. Dad had season tickets and would bring me to a lot of games. I fell in love with the team and shared my excitement of them with many of my friends. And because of my dad, there were a lot more fans in the stands. Dad would always try to be fair with Allison and I. I got to go to the first Grey Cup that was there, and the next, he told me she was taking part. I remember being devastated. Somehow I convinced Allison to let me go. Dad and I would travel to Grey Cups across the country. We went to Saskatchewan, Vancouver, Toronto, Ottawa, Calgary, and of course, we went to the ones here in Edmonton. Dad had some many very fond memories of those trips, some of which were his favorite stories to tell. In his early years, he would often foot the bill, a big win for me, because I was pretty young with no money those days. And soon after, Allison got into the game as well. And man, was that a proud moment for my dad. He was delighted to take her and I to Toronto for the Grey Cup. He loved all the shenanigans we would get up to, and he would partake in the fierce feeling right along with us. Although my dad was never a volunteer, we got him shirts that said he was. And he would skip the lines and collect the beer tokens. He taught me a lot of things. He supported his company, McDermott Electrical, sponsored our ball team, the Shockers. When he found out years later what a shocker was, he said, I'm not too sure I like that. He was definitely not impressed by the name. And his company, although he didn't know about that team a lot of years, it was a write-off, right, Mom? When Dad and I finally decided to get, when Allison and I finally decided to get our own place, I was almost 30 when I moved out of their house. Mom and Dad had us girls all set up with RSPs to ensure we had a down payment and that we would have extra money to furnish the place. We bought the house I now live in 2011, and it had a boiler system in it. Dad said it gave him a boner thinking about everything that thing could do. Let me tell you, that bitch did a lot. A lot of thinking, a lot of resting, a lot of shutting down, a lot of costing us a lot of money. But all along, my dad was there fixing that thing over and over and over again. It was never easy to work with my dad. He had a way of never being wrong. So us girls just knew, just follow the orders, do what he said, and then behind his back we do whatever we wanted. When Dad retired and was home for the summer, he would drive Allison and I crazy, always looking for a project to do. He put shelves in the garage, he would change our light fixtures, he would add motion detectors, paintballs, adwalls, dig up planters, help us build sidewalks, etc., etc. I'm really going to miss not being able to call my dad and ask him for help. Even though after every time he helped me, I swear it was the last time I'd ever asked him. Even up to his last days, there he was on my deck, directing how to get that lighting done. And then again, after he got pretty sick and he was struggling, he had John over and he taught me more and more about how to just make that electrical just right. He was pretty upset because he didn't be able to be there to do the work. He was a workhorse and he taught me a lot. Black to black and white to black and red to, yeah. He always got something to stop till he didn't listen. And I'd always say, I am. But maybe that's just another thing I'd tell him. But I wish I had listened to him a lot more because he had a lot of knowledge to give me. Like if someone's stealing your bottles from the back, from your backyard, you grab a bag of bottles and you take a piss in it, and then you throw some dog shit in it, give some texture, put it back, and I stole it. And then after that, you put more If there's a tree causing a blockage in your sewer system, you just drill some holes in that tree. He also taught me, if there's a tree causing a blockage in your sewer system, you just drill some holes in that tree, pour some gas in it. We never did that. That was a suggestion. When I was 36, I decided it was time to give my parents what I knew they wanted, what they had been longing for, and myself as well. I decided to get myself pregnant and have a baby. When I told my dad I was planning on doing that, I thought, oh man, I hope he doesn't get mad at me because I'm doing this out of wedlock and a single mom. When I told my parents, my dad was so happy he cried. So I moved forward, and Dad was delighted to be there with me along the way. He was so excited to become a grandpa. And to his delight, I was having a baby boy. We all know that I was the closest thing Dad ever got to a boy. And my love was and my tomboy way to look at life. Dad was so excited when I went into labor. He waited at the house all night for the phone call to come and see his baby boy. When he finally got the call, he was there at the hospital around 3:30 in the morning, like 30 minutes after I had told him, kissing him and holding him. It was one of those very proud moments in life, and I could see the instant love that he had for that baby boy. Around 2 weeks later, I played my first ball tournament. And Dad was talking to one of the guys at the Diamonds, and the guy asked if Colton was his grandson, and Dad said, yeah. And he said, well, isn't it funny? You think you love your kids more than anything in the world until you have a grandbaby and you throw your kids in the bus. And my dad looked at me and said, yeah. So, thankfully, he never had to do that. But, Mom and Dad were very adamant that Colton was to stay with them when I went back to work. And although Colton tested Dad, still loved having him around, and he would always tell him, you're my best friend. Come here, Buster. That's another thing I wanted to bring up. Dad rarely called anybody he was close to by their name. We all had a nickname. Mine was Man, or Manda, and Allison had Al. Mom was Mom or Mumsy. As Allison mentioned, we shared spank and spaghetti. And if you think about it, probably had a nickname for you. And if you didn't, maybe it was the way you said your name, the way you pronounced it or exaggerated it. A good example is John was never John to my dad. It was always Johnny. After I had Colton, I sure saw my parents a lot. My dad would often say, what are you doing on Wednesday or Thursday? Because he knew my weekends were always a write-off. He would come over at least once a week and he would ask me to gather the troops and come have some beers with them. He still referred to them as beers even though in his later years he moved on to wine. We would get together and have some very good conversations. This is the time in my life I got to know my dad. And looked up to him as more than a father. He became one of my best friends. Sorry. I always tried to include him in the things that I did with my friends. Concerts, ball tournaments, any sort of sporting event. If I was going, he was welcome to come with me. He had also become very close to some of my friends over the years. I knew this especially when he would say, hey, where's so-and-so work? Let's call so-and-so, get him over here. They were my friends to begin with, but evolved into his very good friends. I actually really loved that I got the opportunity to share my dad with so many. My dad didn't say it often, but he was proud of us girls. And he knew he was. I know the most important thing to him was his family. He loved his grandkids. And he would brag about how smart they were, and we'd love to tell stories about them. Dad was an undiagnosed diabetic for probably many years. And somehow, what you all know is go get checked. Check yourself. Your diabetes. A lot of them have problems with his kidneys and eyesight. Very well prevented. And he become an organ donor. Because that organ donor gave my dad 7 more years with us. So Dad, I can either blame my sense of humor, my occasional temper, so many other things I both love and dislike about myself. But I guess now I can only love them because they remind me of you. I'm gonna forever miss our phone calls. Oh, hi. He always answers the phone like that. I'm gonna miss you, Dad. And I love you very much. Thank you.
I just want to leave a few words that is appropriate from what Amanda said, because I love you so. Tying your love in the face I love. I just want to leave a few words that is appropriate from what Amanda said, because I love you so. Tying your love in the face I love, the voice I heard each day, the many things you did for me in your own special way. All my life I'll miss you as the years come and go. But in my heart, I'll keep you because I love you so. You will hear from John Eastman, another good friend of God.
He's got so many nice things to say. For those of you who don't know me, as Gordon would say, Johnny. We get together to have this quite often. I met the family many years ago. She was baseball with Mal. It was shortly after I met Gordon. One thing that I quickly realized about Gordon was that when you met him, you were automatically on his team. You had to fight to stay on. It was important to him that he had friends who talked around him all the time. You stayed on his team fairly easily, but once you got off, it was really hard to get back on. And as time passed, my divorce friendship grew. He knew if he needed help in anything, he could call me. And vice versa. One thing that impressed me most was his desire to always make sure his family and friends were taken care of. So one example is our yearly firewood collection trips. We would go out and cut down trees at my mom's place. Once he cut himself on a tree branch, we couldn't get the weeds to stop, so we all took him into the house and patched him up. Crazy bugger comes out with a dog rat's child's band-aid on his head. He was so proud of it. He was showing it. He was so proud of it. But we would, we cut down a bunch of trees, buck it all up, and fill that 1-ton truck of wood and take it back to his place, and stack it in his backyard. And he'd spend a week working on splitting it and putting it in the shed to dry. Well, I often wondered, I said, how does he do all this? He's got no fireplace. He's got no fire pit in his backyard. But he did it just so that he had fire for when we were at Slave Lake, so we could all sit around fire together. He yelled me up with some electrical work at my house. Although he couldn't see very well at the time, he patiently talked to this cabinmaker to work. It was quite interesting. It made no sense to me what he was telling me to do. But I just did it. I followed his instructions. And to my surprise, when we flipped on that breaker, everything worked. No, I've been called a lot of things in my life. Some good, some not so good, some really horrible things. Among the best things I've been called is when Gord called me a friend. Sorry, I hope this part is going to work. I just had there's a few people here today that play ball for it. Gord just played a good ball game. So, 3 cheers for Gord. Hooray! Hooray! Thanks, Gord.
Good job, John.
When I met God for the first time that day, 2 things made him very happy. When they wheeled him out of the cubicle that he was in, to the corridor, Dr. Allison and fiancé were walking out. And as soon as he saw them, he just lighted up. And when they came up near to the bed, he spent some time talking to them and giving them certain advices. And the other time I noticed how happy and proud he was when they wheeled him back into the cubicle and we continued with the ceremony. And I said, who gives this woman to be married to this man? You should have seen the proudest man. I do. It has been said, a picture speaks 1,000 words. And we're going to see some pictures of God in the past. So you're going to be getting thousands of words. So let's look to the screen as we have the slideshow.
Yeah, Grandpa.
Didn't have a kids working for me, not a time to stay. Out everywhere, the kids working for me, not a time to stay. Out everywhere, I come around.
That doesn't look like grandpa.
My steps were quick and light, and I had fun.
He looks ugly in that.
I go around. I was strong as I could be. I go around. Nothing ever got to me. I go around. What you see. I go around. I stood
That's not mommy. Who is that? Who was that? I don't know. Josie, maybe. Oh.
Grandma, that is.
Who's that? There's mommy and Tia. Look, Grandma. There's mommy. Grandpa.
20 years. Where they go? 20 years.
That's not my mom.
Sitting out on the sofa. Where they go?
Someone had to teach me.
Oh, what a baby!
That's you, Grandma.
That's Tia. That's mommy.
I recall. Standing on the street. Charging for the gate. Carrying away.
It's still morning outside,
Look at the birdies.
Oh, that's up.
Yeah. First one.
Yeah, I wonder Bucky died. I love it.
Aw, see, kissy boy.
I love you way too much. I love you way too much. You know what? I made. You know,
Don't see it after, okay?
you know what, Tia? I got him and he's hers. I got him.
Watch the pictures. Okay. This is a slime. This is a slime that kills me.
Won't you stay a little while? You may say you're monsters. That please don't go. I don't want to be alone. 'Cause the second that you're gone, there's you're intimacy and I say, 'cause I need the second that you're gone, there's you're intimacy and I say, 'cause I need, we don't need it. I won't be right by your side.
That was my question.
Oh, who's that? Is my mom with grandpa? Or just the kids?
This one. He's got the nut.
That's
Full screen, they never did. That's why it's so small. It should be. He's just sad. It's okay. It's okay. He's sad.
Bye-bye, Tremble.
Shh, go baby.
There's my mama.
Yeah.
Miss Tremble. It's Tremble now. Oh, it's Tremble and Tremble.
Yeah.
Where's Colby? Where's Colby? Right there.
Yeah.
I didn't know who that's Tremble. Oh,
That's Tia. That's Tia and Grandpa.
yeah, I mean, he does with the dogs. Oh my goodness. Look at Trevor's face.
Shh, Colden. He's just looking. I know, but he's in some standard things. Oh, it looks different there. Yeah, I don't know if I can. Yeah.
Oh, there's a Oh, the
Ouch. It's Mexican. Super tough. That's cool then.
That's dice, and it's rabbit holding him, and he dies. Oh, this time I did not say. It's yeah, they made them up. Wow. They were saying bye-bye. They said bye-bye to her. That way kids like it. Big bucket. That was right, roast. Well, that's done.
You're so silly. Almost.
Just a few moments again. One thing that we make about God is that
Almost.
just a few moments again. One thing that we make about God is that the minutes of his life and having fun and making memories of all of those things. he took time for the spiritual aspect of his life, and I had a very serious conversation with him that day, the same day of the wedding at the hospital. He said he is ready to go. He has received Jesus Christ as his Lord and Savior. His sins are forgiven. He knows where he is going. And he has made peace with that process. And he would want the same for all of us. And so, in connection with that, coming down to the end of our program, there's a poem that I would like to read. Actually, it's a very short poem. To the living, I am gone. To the sorrowful, I will never return. To the hungry, I was cheated. But to the happy, I am at peace. And to the faithful, I have never left. I cannot speak, but I can listen. I cannot be seen, but I can be heard. So as you stand upon the shore gazing at the beautiful sea, as you look upon a flower and admire its simplicity, remember me. Remember me in your heart, your thoughts, and your memories of the times we loved, the times we cried, the times we fought, the times we laughed. For if you always think of me, I will never have gone. He's gone. You can shed tears that he's gone, or you can smile because he has lived. You can close your eyes and pray that he will come back, or you can open your eyes and see all that he has left. Your heart can be empty because you can't see him, or you can be full of love that you share. You can turn your back on tomorrow and live yesterday, or you can be happy for tomorrow because of yesterday. You can remember him and only that he's gone, or you can cherish his memory and let it live on. You can cry and close your mind, be empty and turn back. Or you can do what he would want. Open your eyes and go on. We want to bring this portion of the afternoon to a close, and we would like to give you an opportunity to pay your last respects to God. And I'm just thinking that we can do it this way. You can come down this aisle, on this side, one row at a time, one row on this side, one row on that side, until you come to the front, and you can pay your respects and move out of the sanctuary. And if you guys want to come and stand here, so that the folks that are here can greet you guys as well. So if we can do that now.